It is that time of year. 2023 is almost over. Another year of scaping. So I thought I'd take you through the highs, the lows, the spoils and the toils and the achievements of this year, where the bank is at and the goals for the next year ahead. This will be the inaugural bank video and should serve as, I guess, something to look back on to measure up against in a year's time. Did I achieve what I set out for? Did the bank increase? Did I have rent to pay? Who knows, but let's get into it. So to start with, you'll see I've got this set up in around 10 different tabs. We've got our currencies that we've got here with our almost, not maximum cash, but we've got 1.4 bill there. Another 100k platinum tokens, that's another 100 million gold. We've got some sweets, our little Slayer helm, Gommel's hilt, and some other different types of currencies that we use. And also, I guess, charges for other weapons. You'll see I've got also our master clue scrolls and all of our other clue scrolls down here. I'm not a big one for clue scrolls, but it's something to just keep in there, just to keep a track of where we are when I can be bothered to do this. So I like to keep around 500 mil to around 1.5 bill in cash, there or thereabouts, just so I can use this to create a little bit of passive income in the background whilst either I'm out and about IRL or I'm just scaping in-game, bossing and PVMing and the likes. So yeah, we'll get straight into the gear tab. So you can see this is a fully stacked gear tab. There are some items that are missing, which I did have previously prior to the release of Desert Treasure 2, but I'll touch on that in a little bit's time. So of course we have the Blood Torva kit. And as you all know, I've created guides on these. So if you do want this gear yourself, check those out. And this was a massive challenge. It's something I really enjoyed doing and getting, but at the same time, it was a bit of a slog, especially for that Leviathan and Vardorvis. Those were probably the two most painful bosses for me, but I had a lot of fun doing that, and it's definitely something I recommend trying out if you do have the cash for it yourself or are looking for that next step in a challenge, I guess. We've got the Missouri, the Ancestral, the Justicia, Inquisitors, we've got the Crystal Armor, and of course the Virtus. So we have most of the gear that I will actually need in-game now. I kind of feel like the rest of the pieces that I'm actually missing here, I did actually have to sell these to actually fund the Awakener's Orbs to pay for all those attempts at the Awaken bosses. I'm seeing these people that are putting up these videos where they're saying they got these things in like, 40 orbs, 50 orbs. Yeah, I spent about 300 to 400 orbs getting this. And that was when they were probably about 2.5 to 3.5 mil. Couple that with the deaths, my bank value dropped quite a bit. It dropped quite a bit, but we're getting there. I'll show at the end as well a little bit of a bank value as well, so you'll be able to see what actually all of this is actually worth. But I do actually probably have the cash as well to pay for quite a few of these things now. But like I said, I like to keep that quite a bit of cash just spare, just in case things drop in price. I mean, Void Wakers are dropping loads, to be honest, so if you actually are looking to actually get one of these, consider buying one if you want to take the risk of seeing how bad the nerf is coming up. And of course, how could I forget, we also have the three main weapons, the Scythe, the Twisted Bow, and the Tumican Shadow for the elite triumvirate set of equipment. Now, as you can see, I've got Twisted Bow, obviously doesn't have a kit, nor does a Shadow. However, the Scythe is a kit that I want to get in the long run. I think I'll probably look at trying to get the kit for this sometime towards the mid to late 2024, as the Blood kit does look pretty badass. That Holy kit, maybe not so much, but the Blood kit does look good. But yeah, so lots of different niche items. I mean, the rings are definitely something I want to get, but things like the Ellie, Arcane, they're not really things that I really need nowadays. Likewise with the Kodai, I just don't see myself doing many bursting tasks, and even then, I'll probably just use an Ancient Staff if I'm going to do any Slayer. Things like the Harmonized Orb, Volatile Orb, and Eldritch are also nice to have if I'm trying to do some CAs or anything like that as well, but at the same time, it's not on my radar just yet, but we will get there. Got lots of other bits of gear here, so Sanguinesi staffs don't really need things like this, do we, at the end of the day, because I've got a Shadow. Lots of the other Staff of Lights, those are just the transmogs for the Staff of the Dead and Toxic Staff of the Dead. Dragon Hunter equipment, need to get those replaced as well as an Armadil crossbow. And usually I tend to have some of this other types of gear as well, just so I can throw this on alt accounts, just to make videos on those, I guess, is what I'm planning to do in the upcoming year. But yeah, we'll eventually sort of to build these back up again. Missing 2 pieces for the Siren Staff, the Executioner's Head, so those will make the, I don't know what it's called, Soul Reaper Axe, that's the one, it's the Soul Reaper Axe. I got really lucky with these. I think I got both of these in sub 100 KC, and this was at the time when I think Elliot was actually making his original axe, and it was selling for something like 5 bill or like 10 bill or something ridiculous. So at the time, I really wanted to focus more on the Awakeners bosses, so I didn't actually bother trying to actually finish these last 2 pieces, because at the end of the day, I could have gone like thousands and thousands of kills dry. So definitely, yeah, it's something I want to get in the long run. I want to make that myself, but I just need to get around to getting around to doing that as well. We've got, as well, all of the PvP, Wilderness PvP weapons here. Got our prayer gear. Like I said, got a few bits of bandos here, as well as all of our Elite Void. And that probably brings us to the end of this tab. The newest, obviously, additions are going to be the Virtus sets, but the main ones I want to be working on and getting, I guess, in the nearest future is these rings. Now that they've set it out in price, I think these are around something like 150 mil, 50 mil, 50 mil. But we will get there in the end. Moving on to the Runes and Ammunition tab. So as you can see, I've got all of the arrows, bolts up at the top here, followed by all of the runes at the bottom here. Usually have my lore runes here, along with all the different sort of basic elements, rune elements here, as well as the combination runes, nature runes, cosmic runes, and then all these combination runes down here. And then again, sort of in a bit of an order, I guess, going into wrath runes, blood runes, all the way down to mind runes, and then astrals, as they're just the odd one out. I've seen lots of bank videos, and I don't know how people manage to go with having, like, 10,000 ruby dragon bolts, 100k dragon arrows, thousands upon thousands of dragon darts, and stacks and white stacks, even green stacks of runes. I don't see how people do it, but myself, I think if I get around, at least the buy limit, and I have that in the background, it's usually something I can easily just go and top up my rune pouch, my weapons. I usually try to keep those most of the time fully charged, and I'll do that maybe once every few months. But then again, I've got a few alts I can just buy runes on if I need to. But yeah. Although it looks really nice to have all those massive stacks of runes, it's not something I've usually tried to do. Most of the time I'll probably end up selling them because I like to prefer to have a little bit more cash. So yeah, lots of runes, lots of bolts, a few lots of arrows here and there. Then on to tab 3 is our potions tab. And I've seen a few different layouts for these, and I'm considering switching this around actually, because I've seen some people where they've done a little bit of a hybrid one with the potions going across the side, and then they have the raw materials to the right or to the left. It's a good idea. Looks good, but I just like to keep them separate for now. As you can see, we've got lots of prayer potions. Don't usually use these too much. Mainly just super restores. I've been doing a lot of TOA this year. We've got our sand fuse, which 26. I need to actually top these up. Probably should have done that before the video, but what can you do? Lots of brews. We've got lots of staminas. Quite a lot, actually, of more than I thought, actually, divine super combats, as well as a few sort of other divine potions as well. Going on to just basic potions here, these are actually really good to use, especially at some of the Desert Treasure 2 bosses. They've been actually really useful for Vard. Obviously, it was a really great addition to use that, as well as do Succulus. Other potions, super combats, ranging potions, as well as all of our sort of anti-venoms and other miscellaneous potions as well. Anti-fires don't do much dragon type bosses, so these have actually stayed pretty high, at least for the anti-fire potions. For the other ones, not so much. But yeah, generally I try to keep on one of those. I can't remember what the plugin's called now, where you can pick out all the different gear sets. So that's why I have like lots and lots of Wando's potions sitting around, like staminas and the anti-venoms, because I use these to pre-pot TOA a lot, and we have got through quite a few kills this year, or clears, I should say. Moving on, we get to the food tab. Pretty basic setup. We've got some sharks here, manta rays, a few thousand of each of those, a few thousand anglers. Like I said, I don't like to have like tens and 20,000s of these foods. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous to have that amount. But usually this will keep me going for a long time. I'll restock every few months or so. Likewise with all the potions. Usually I'll buy probably maybe 1,000, 2,000 of these at a time for each of these. Maybe not 1,000 sand fuses, because that'll probably bankrupt me, but yeah, usually around 1,000 to 2,000 of each of those, as well as all the different types of foods. Gothic's Rests, bits of raw food here as well. Something I probably need to actually work on is my skilling this year, which is what I'll cover in a little bit later. But yeah, basic food tab, bits and bobs, some free-to-play stuff here, 1,000 lobbies. You can see that I've actually not touched for a very long time. But maybe we'll do some free-to-play PKing. Who knows? Moving on to the teleport tabs. House teleports, usually literally the ones that I use the most. I don't actually think I've even touched any of these in the last year, but they're nice to just keep there just to use in case. If I want to throw them onto alt accounts as well, because some of the accounts that I have, I think I've got 4 or 5 active accounts that I use. Some of those don't actually have high construction, some of those don't have portals, so we just like to throw those onto those accounts when and where we need those. As well as all these other PvP teleports. Obviously, I don't want to keep Anakal teleports, Carol teleports, Karolanga teleports in my bank. Is that a Gorok? Should be a Gorok somewhere. Should be a Gorok. No Gorok. Oh well, we don't have a Gorok. As well as all the other different types that I like to use as well, just in case we need to get around the game. Most of these I actually have in my player-owned house, but like I said, if we've got to throw these onto the alts, then I can just pull these out when I need to. I've got some Dorgish Can Spheres. No idea where I have this many, but we've got those as well. I've got the Eternal Teleport Crystal, 2 Rings of Shadows. Thankfully, they actually made an update where you don't have to fill your inventory, 27 items, drop it, die, and go pick it up again and do all that jazz. You can now just go and buy another one of these, I think for 75,000 gold. But yeah, that was a good update. Really happy with that, because it used to be a pain. It used to be a pain dying and then having to run all the way back just to go and get your gear through the mushroom teleports, running from wherever. It's a very welcome update. No idea why they released it like that in the first place. By the way, Ectophiles, Draka Medallions, Master Scroll Books. Use these a fair bit to get around the game now and then, as well as some Ice Sacks, which I guess they're not teleports, but I thought, where else can I put those? Moving on to the herbs and skilling tab. So we have all our herbs down the sides along with all our seeds. I usually tend to sell these off quite a lot when I do Chambers of Xeric and the likes. I guess as well, the seeds that I pick up from TOA. I just need to probably get around to selling these. Like I said, I don't like to keep massive stacks of these that I'm actually not going to use, because I prefer to just sell things and have that cash available. We've got lots of ores here, which I need to be using at the blast furnace, because I definitely need to be getting my smithing level up, as well as a bunch of bars, which I didn't actually realise I actually had here. I probably need to get around to selling those. And a bunch of gems as well, mostly from TOA. Not sure where I got all these from, but those have just accumulated over time as well. Need to actually get my crafting up as well, so I guess we could get these crafted and turned into gems and get those sold off. As well as a bunch of dragon leathers and our other bits of skilling stuff here. So we've got the graceful set. Don't have any of the recolored sets yet, as I don't generally tend to do much skilling, so I don't need the Fashionscape that much. We've got the Prospector's kit. I've got the golden one, which you get from the Shooting Stars. I've got the Angler set, which I needed for a combat achievement. Of all things, this was just such a pain to get, but I think that was for a combat achievement at Temporos, or at Temporas. Our logs, planks, as well as some of our rune, crystal, and dragon equipment, as well as some saplings and a few bits of junk at the bottom. Then going on to our loot tab, pretty basic, pretty empty at the minute, because I just emptied this out the other day just to build up that cash stack as high as possible. Got our bones, got some cache of runes, looks a nice little loot icon, which I thought I should use. Rune items, dragon items, adamant items, some battle staffs, miscellaneous bits, as well as it just falls apart to the bottom here. Got some Awakens orbs, Tanzanite fangs, serpentine visages down there as well. But yeah, usually I tend to empty this out when I get to around the 10 mil mark or so. And as you can see, we got to the 10 mil mark, so I emptied that out. And then this is just the random repository of absolute junk that I don't know where to store and what to store. So this is just full of like holiday items, some random quest items. I've gone to the Wise Old Man to clear these out to see if I can clear up any more spaces, but apparently I've cleared everything out. Got the jars. Obviously didn't get those as a drop. I'm not an Iron Man. I just bought those off the GE, but I can't decide which one I want to actually have in my POH. And then finally we get on to the random miscellaneous flex loot tab, or whatever we want to call it. We've got this Cursed Phalanx here, which is a duplicate. Got that in a run with a friend. I've got 2 metamorphic dusts now. As you can see, I've got the Puppadial there, so I've got 2 metamorphic dusts. We've got of course, the Ancient Blood Torva ornament kit. I've got the alchemical Hydra heads if I need to get that changed into a Slayer helm, which actually I can change. Can I change that into a Slayer helm? Can I change that into a Slayer helm and make that look cooler? Or do I need to do that? What do I need to do that? Can I just do that now? Let's find out. You need to learn how to do this from a Slayer Master. Right, okay. We'll do that. Maybe at the end of the video. I've got the Jalnibrek, the ultimate pet, which we can turn into Tzkal-zuk. I got this on 2kc from a Cape Serdin. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. Of course, we've got the Puppedile and the Olmert, which is the same pet, just that it has the Metamorphic Dust. We've got the Tumikin's Guardian. I think I've had about 3 of these now. We've got some dupe capes, as well as some other bits of other items on here as well. You can see I've got the Menify Ornament Kit. I actually don't have the smithing level to even boost up to actually put that on my shield, which is why I don't actually have an Arcane Spirit Shield, because it was just something I could sell. I'm actually a massive stickler for selling gear, or I have been in the past selling gear when I needed to buy other things, but thankfully I'm fortunate enough that I now have enough cash that I don't have to worry about that. So let's go on to the collections logged. You can see I am not a collection logger, as I don't have time to do that, but we'll go through some of the routes that we've attained from Chambers of Xeric, Theatre of Blood, and the Tombs of Amascut. I can see we've got a few different bits of gear here. We're still missing the Ancestral Hat and the Kodai insignia. One day, maybe when I'm 50, I'll get the 2000 CM cape, but we will wait and see to get that one. These are actually, all 3 of these Eldermores were in FFAs. I was very unhappy when these dropped, when I could have actually got Twisted Bows. It was a very happy moment, but a very sad moment at the same time. As you can see, we've got around 1,000 completions there or thereabouts across that, so I think that's a pretty good split for everything. 6 Twisted Ancestral Kits and 2 Metamorphic Dusts in 300 KC. Not bad. Moving on to TOB. Now, this is something that I really need to work on, because I do not TOB. As you can see, we got pretty lucky. At KC 24, we managed to get the Scythe of Vitor, which the rest of the Venezuelans were not happy about when I got that in World 365. But I, on the other hand, was very happy. I managed to sell that for a cool 500 million gold prior to the spike up to around 800 million or 900 million, whatever it's at the minute. And then finally, let's have a look at Tombs of Amascut. As you can see, 3 pets, 4 shadows. 3 of these have been in FFAs, which I was... Oh no, one was a solo, 2 FFAs, and 1 was in a split. After I did about 200 FFAs, I actually got one literally the first run that I did it back. So that goes to show, don't do split runs, just do FFA runs. And then we've got roughly, what, 5 wards, 5 masks, 4 bodies, 7 chaps, 9 rings. Look at that as a ratio. There needs to be some math in the background. Something's going on. I can't be the only one that's managed to get this good of a split. I'm happy this is not the other way around, so I've made some quite good money from that. As you can see, we're working our way through. I'm close to around 1,000 completions, another 150 off, and we'll have 1,000, and we'll get that tier 4. I think that's at 1,000, and then finally onto tier 5 once we get that 2,000 KC. As well as need to get the other remnants as well. I'll get these eventually, but this is probably one of the first things I'll probably ever bother green logging, but it's something I'm not really that bothered around. I like to flex the Tzkal-zuk pet. So going on to that, we'll now have a look at CAs, and this is where the bulk of what my goals will be for the next year. As you can see, we worked through the easy, medium, and hard. I've got 2 left in the Elite Diary, so that's just Theatre of Blood Veteran, just 1 KC off that, as well as kill the Alchemical Hydra. So going back to the overview, you can see we've only got a few of the elites there, a few masters, and quite a few grandmasters. So I am contemplating doing a Road to Master series and Road to Grandmaster series. Is that something people would like to watch? I can show lots of ways how to cheese a lot of these tasks, and I think it's something that will be fun to do and fun to show. And I'm keen for it, but are you keen to watch it? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll get on with that one. If not, I'll just do these in the background, and then you'll just see me one day with a Tzkal-zuk helm. So yes, finally we will end with the skills. As you can see, I've got a 1984 total level, which for my bank value and the achievements that I have on this account is absolutely abysmal. I know some of my friends will not be happy seeing that, especially one that has recently maxed, although he needs to get an Infernal Cape, so he can't comment just yet. So yeah, as you can see, these stats are mega low, and yeah, this will be the other major goal for the year, will be to get all of these completed, which I don't know, I have a clue what that will actually take me to as a total level, but it should get most of my skills to 90 and above. And then I've got the minimum of what I need to. And maybe the year after that, do we max? Do we not? I don't know. You can go away. So yes, that brings us to the end, but drum roll first, we will look at the bank value. So let me close that one. Grand exchange price. We are at 10 billion gold. And you can see I definitely waited to put this together to before I made this video, just so it wasn't 9.987. And no, I did not buy bonds to get it to that number. We got a lot of drops, as you can see, obviously, in the logs that I've shown you. And we made some good flips along the way as well. So yeah, we've got the 10 bill across the bank there. 8.2 bill in gear. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. 64 mil in ammunition. We've got another 40 mil in potions. Almost 10 mil, well, 9 mil. 10 mil in food. 2.5 mil. Actually, that's a bit much higher. 2.5 mil in teleports. 97 mil. 97 mil? Oh, it's just all the crystal gear. It's all the crystal gear. Okay. Still, 46 mil. That's a lot of stuff. Probably should sell some stuff in this tab. And we have 5 mil in our loot tab. 46 mil. 45 mil in that. And then finally, tab 9 has no value. Yeah, we've got quite a lot. Where will we go next year? Thinking I just need to fill out, do those other goals that I wanted to do, obviously. Skilling. Getting those CAs done, and then filling the rest of this stuff out. And let's see how we get on. How has your year gone? Have you managed to achieve what you set out for? What goals do you have left? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!